The third lens, so besides feminism and human rights inequalities, the third lens, which is very common, is environmentalism. They're looking at how it's a source of pollution, just like, the Ganesh festival and Diwali and all kind of other Hindu festivals are being targeted. So they want to look for that this causes disease, bring doctors into it in the pretext of studying public health. What they're really trying to do is figure out how to blame the whole syndrome, the whole phenomenon as a human rights syndrome and an environmental syndrome. So this issue of there's so much plastic being used, all that. Now these are valid issues. The feminist issue is a valid issue. The human rights issue is a valid issue. The environmentalism is a valid issue. But the control of such studies should be in the hands of our own akhadas and our own leaders, rather than hand it over to others to come and study us and tell us what's wrong and intervene and take over and appropriate what they need for themselves and distort what they cannot use. I don't want Kumbh Mela to turn into another Halloween. In the United States, there's a festival. It used to be pagan, Wicca festival, or it wasn't really a particular festival per se, but they've exoticized a whole lot of Wicca, pre-Christian European traditions, symbols, and turned it into, weird stuff. And it's celebrated, rejoiced. The reason I came up with this perspective is I had a secretary long ago, 15 years ago, a white lady, and she was a Wicca. And she told me that we, the Wicca, are very upset at Halloween. We think that they are making fun of us. They have taken our stuff, turned it into some kind of pop culture with exotic stuff, and all kinds of false statements and false claims about us. I started becoming very sensitive from that. And I started imagining what happens if in the Kumbh Mela you have a Ram Leela, which is making fun, which is a parody. What happens if, all our itihas, all our symbols, new kinds of dances which are pejorative. What happens if it is the Ram Leela actually becomes Christ Leela. So, and a lot of budget is spent on producing these kind of works. Do not think that this is fantasy. Do not think this is fantasy. Do not think that I'm just conjuring up some kind of a conspiracy. 20 years ago when I said similar things about the Wendy Doniger stuff, a lot of people poo-pooed it, but now there's so many people joining the bandwagon. I've since then talked about, 20 years ago I started this talk about India versus South Asia. At that time people didn't take it seriously. I have a lot of articles I wrote on it. People now take these matters very seriously. So I'm telling you that the Kumbh Mela is the latest site for research on such kind of things and the latest site for intervention. So Kumbh Mela is not only the center for all the greatness of our tradition, but also where a lot of threat faces us.
And the Sadhu Akhadas, as organized groups, they are the owners of the Kumbh Mela, which is the oldest recorded practice, tradition, ritual, whatever you want to call it,